guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. I don't understand what's going on today. I know where we stopped yesterday and I know where we're starting today, and there's something wrong. It looks like they missed part of today's um this part of today. So the 8th is split into 5 parts. We are on part 5, and look what I see. So, we ended yesterday. We ended part 4 yesterday, 5. And today we're supposed to go into part 5. And it's only 15 minutes long, and there's this lady on the stand. And I don't know who she is. So it looks like they missed some of today. I don't know, maybe the cameraman was late. I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is we're starting right here. I don't know who she is, and I don't know what she's going to say, and I bet it's about a dog barking. All right, let's find out.
911, and my dog was barking. I asked
Boom.
permission to try to quiet the dog or bring her in, and they said, don't go near your doors or windows.
So they wanted you to stay inside.
Wanted me to stay inside.
And after the officers came and checked your house, checked around all the doors and the side and the back, did they let you go outside?
They suggested I not go outside. They suggested I just stay put, go back, try to go to sleep, and mind my own business.
Did
I
they,
think.
Did they allow you to go out into the back of your residence to quiet your dog?
They asked me to bring the dog in so that they could check the backyard.
And
Because it is a watchdog. It is a watchdog.
Did you do that?
Yes, I did.
You brought
that.
the dog in?
I brought the dog in.
And then they checked around back?
Then they checked around and back.
Okay. And it was all clear? Everything was okay?
They told me everything was fine.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Cochran?
Mr. Cochran, you had better be nice to this lady. I'm telling you right now, you had better be nice to this lady. I don't even want to play it, guys.
Bethany, Ms. Tester, how are you?
Fine, thank you. I think.
As I understand what you told us, you never came out of your house that night. From the time you made the call for the animal shelter and then the call after that to 911, you stayed inside
That
the
is
house.
what I recall, yes.
That's
Except to go in the back to bring my dog in.
All right. You
In the
went
backyard.
in your backyard.
Yes.
You didn't come out the front, however, though.
Since the officers told me not to, I did not do so.
I understand. And you've lived in this particular house for 51 years? You,
I'm sorry I didn't hear
Are you
that.
tuning me out? Are you, okay, are you? Only if you do it for both sides, Your Honor. Now, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good. Uh, Touche.
Great straight line.
Touche, Your Honor, touche. With regard to the events of that evening, let me ask you a few questions, if I might. I believe you indicated that you had called 911 sometime after midnight. Is that correct?
Yes.
And they kept you on the phone for a period of time. Is that right?
Yes.
Can you tell us how long were you on the phone before you ultimately hung the phone up when talking to
No,
911?
I can't tell you because I didn't watch the time, and at this point of time, I can't recall.
All right.
It
So-
would just be guesswork, which would.
We don't want you to guess, so you can't tell us how long it was.
No.
All right. And, but you talked to 911. They gave you permission to go into your backyard at some point, right? To get your dog?
No, 911 did not.
The police officers did that.
Yes.
Okay. So when the police officers came to your door, you hung up the phone at that point from 911?
When they came to the door, what?
When the police officers came to your door, when the two police officers came across the street to your door, did you then hang up the 911 operator?
Probably. It's been a long time, probably.
All right, I understand. Your best recollection, right? And how long had you been doing your bookkeeping that particular evening? Do you know what time you started?
Probably 6 or 7 hours.
6 or 7 hours? So,
Yes, I had a lot to catch up on.
okay, I understand. Now, what time do you think you started that bookkeeping?
I haven't any idea.
Okay, what time did you finish?
I stopped at just about 12 o'clock.
All right. So if you stopped about 12 o'clock and you did it for
Right.
6 or 7 hours, you may have started as early as 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Is that right?
Maybe it's possible I started at 8 o'clock in the morning. There's no telling. I sometimes work 12 hours or 14 hours a day, sometimes, with book work like that.
I understand. And have you ever heard the 911 tape when you were speaking to
No.
You've not heard that tape?
No, that's what I said. I'd like to hear it.
Okay. Does Mr. Clark have that tape? Okay.
Am I testifying
No,
now?
I wasn't asking you. I was asking her. Do you know if Ms. Clark has that tape?
Pardon?
Do you know whether or not Ms. Clark has that 911 tape?
No.
All right. Now, before you called 911, you had called the West Los Angeles Police Department,
Correct.
and they had asked you to call Animal Control.
Correct.
And do you know when that was, approximately?
No, I don't know exactly.
You can't give us a time on that either.
Not really, no.
You were just working inside and not paying attention to the time, right?
More or less, yes.
All right. Were you wearing a watch that night?
Pardon?
Were you wearing a watch that night?
Probably, but I might not have been looking at it too often. And now, after all this time, there's things I can't recall.
I understand. I understand. Well, thank you very much. Been helpful. I have nothing further.
All right, thank you, Mr. Cochran. Ms. Clark, do you have any further questions?
Acceptable.
All right. Ms. Jarrett,
Yes.
I'm going to excuse you for the afternoon. Thank you very much for coming in. Please
Okay.
don't discuss your testimony with anybody else except for the lawyers on the case till the matter's over, okay?
All
All
right.
right, thank you very much for coming in. Ms. Clark, would you like to assist Mr. Jarrett? All right.
That definitely proved OJ didn't do it.
All right, Ms. Clark, is your next witness the first officer?
Yes, Your Honor. I anticipate his testimony will not be brief.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you recall, Wednesday afternoon is one of our short afternoons for visit purposes. Also, I'd like you to know that I have been making arrangements
For visit purposes? Field trip? They're going on the field trip or they're going to see everything now? Ooh.
for us to go out to the Bundy address and to the Rockingham address in the next, perhaps next 2 weeks, sometime in the next 2 weeks, for you to actually see the locations that we've been talking about. And just to let you know that we will be having a court session out in the field, so to speak. That'll be coming up in the next, perhaps, week to 2 weeks. All right? All right, counsel, rather than start the new witness now with only 7 minutes to go, I'm going to take our recess at this time. I'm going to ask counsel to stay, though, because there are a couple of things we need to put on the record after we excuse the jury. All right, we'll stand in recess then until tomorrow morning, as far as the jury is concerned, until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
I think they wanted some testimony in so that the jury had an idea of what they were looking at, but not all of the testimony.
Before they were brought in, I have not been out in the hallway recently. Ms. Hazlett, I have a note here indicating that apparently there are 2 television monitors out in the hallway right now.
There's one that I know of. It's a monitor that the operator of the remote still camera uses in order to take shots.
Or is that visible to individuals out in the hallway?
It's covered with newspapers on all sides and it's facing the wall. So it's not visible unless somebody gets around behind by the operator, which the operator's been very diligent to keep people away from it.
All right, was that the condition this morning?
Yes.
Are you aware of any other monitor that might be out there?
I'm not aware of it. I'll be glad to check.
All right. Let me ask if council is aware of any monitors, any other monitors other than the remote still camera.
No, we are not. We know the one right outside, I think, Jerry had stopped.
All right, because the note is pretty specific that there were 2 TV monitors, however, without sound. My first impression is that this is a violation of the court's order, that they're not supposed to be watching any of the testimony. However, I'm not that concerned about it since there was no sound. However, Mr. Cochran correctly observed that we have exhibited exhibits on the television monitor, which would be something that is inappropriate for them to be watching. And apparently they were in the tow of somebody, so I would admonish both sides to make sure that if you have witnesses waiting outside, that they be not allowed to watch any of the monitor coverage outside. That's a clear violation.
We will take care of that, thank you.
All right, anything else we need to put on the record?
No, we need to just push them in at sidebar, perhaps.
All right.
Thank you.
Mistrial because of TV with no sound. They barely really showed any exhibits on the feed.
Before we take our recess. See it? All right. Mr. Cochran, anything else we need to put on the record before we take our recess for the afternoon?
No, Your Honor.
You didn't miss anything.
You had your chance. I asked over there.
I know.
All right. What is it?
I don't think we're approach.
On the record. All right.
Well, actually, we don't have time, we know we need to approach.
All right. Ms. Clark.
But on the record.
All right. On the record with the court report, please.
O.J. Simpson trial is 2 hours long, really. You're allowed to ask the same question exactly one
We will
time,
stand in recess until 9 o'clock tomorrow.
and no conferences. February 9th.
All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're actually getting an almost timely start this morning. Ms. Clark, you may call your next witness.
Thank you very much, Alan. Good morning. People call Officer Robert Risky.
Where's Mr. Risky?
Risky, Officer Risky. I agree, Bandy. Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives.
Please help you God. Please have a seat for witness stands and statements. Spell your first and last name for the record.
It's Robert Risky, Robertriske.
Good morning, officer.
Good morning.
Can you please tell us what you do for a living?
I'm a police officer for the city of Los Angeles,
And where are you assigned, sir?
West LA.
And how long have you been so assigned?
I've been a police officer for 4 years and 10 months. I've been in West LA 3 years and 6 months.
And in your capacity as a police officer at the West LA Division, what are your duties?
I'm assigned to patrol. We respond to radio calls, traffic enforcement, crime prevention, basically.
Does that mean that you are in a black and white car
Yes, ma'am.
and you patrol the area of West LA?
Yes, ma'am.
And that area that you patrol, does that encompass 875 South Bundy?
Yes.
Prior to becoming a police officer, what did you do?
I was in the Navy for 6.5 years.
And then did you train to become a police officer?
Yes.
And what was the nature of your training?
I did 6 months in Los Angeles Police Academy, did a year of probation.
In the course of your training, sir, at the academy, were you trained in crime scene preservation?
They kind of gloss over it. They don't really train in it.
Did you learn it at some point in your duties, in your
Just
functioning as a
on-the-job
police?
training.
On-the-job training?
Yes, ma'am.
Meaning what?
I mean, when you're on probation, you're assigned to a training officer, and you go to a crime scene, they tell you, what you're supposed to do. Identification, preservation of evidence, setting up the crime scene.
In the course of your duties in the past 4 years and 10 months, how many crime scenes have you had to protect or preserve?
I would only be estimating 20.
And how many of those involved homicides?
Probably more than half, 15.
Now, as of June the 12th of 1994, you were assigned to patrol for the West LA Division?
Yes, ma'am.
At approximately 12:09 a.m., did you receive a call directing you to that general location?
To 874 South Bundy, yes.
What was the nature of the call that sent you to 874 South Bundy?
It came out as a burglary suspect, and the statements of the call said it was an unknown person knocking on the victim's door.
And ringing the doorbell?
Yes, ma'am.
And in response to that particular call, did you go to the location?
Yes.
Tell us what happened.
As we arrived at the scene, we were flagged down by 2 witnesses and a dog. They directed us to 875, and they said there was a dead lady on the walkway.
2 witnesses. Were they men, women,
There's a male and a female.
and they had a dog with them?
Yes, ma'am.
What'd that dog look like?
It was white, probably 2.5, 3 feet tall.
Do they have it on a leash?
Yes.
Directing your attention to this series of photographs that's in Marcus Peoples 40. Can you tell us if you recognize what's shown in those photographs?
That looks like the dog that the witnesses had.
And they were standing where in relation to 875 South Bundy when you saw them?
When we approached, they were coming down a driveway of 868 South Bundy.
And was that on the same side or the opposite side of the street?
So the same side of the street as 874.
As 874?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that across the street from 875?
Yes.
And what time was it when you got there and made contact with that couple with the dog?
12:13 a.m.
And they told you they'd seen a dead woman in front of 875 South Bundy?
That's correct.
And after they told you that, what did you do?
My partner and I crossed the street and went to the walkway, and we observed a female white in a black dress laying in a puddle of blood on the walkway.
John, can I have 38? $38 from yesterday, John. You know what? Cut the feed, Your Honor.
Sorry?
Cut the feed, please.
Done.
Then. Can you look at your monitor, sir? And tell us if you recognize what's depicted in that photograph?
Yes, that's what we saw when we approached.
Now, if you would please, sir, describe for me, when you approached that location, that particular walkway, could you tell us what was the lighting like there?
It was very dark.
So if you were not specifically looking up that walkway, would you have seen the blood, the body, or anything else?
I'm checking on that question. That calls for speculation.
Sustained.
You can.
Can you tell us, sir?
Maybe a question. I have a question with regard to the monitoring, what we're seeing and what we're seeing up there. Let me approach.
Sure.
He's breaking up her questions for no reason.
Thank you, counsel. Ms. Clark, are you going to mark that next board?
43?
All right, so there's no misunderstanding. Mr. Crawford? Mr. Crawford? No video of this particular board depicting the victims' bodies, still photographers, no photographs of the display of the victims' bodies. Thank you. All right. Ms. Clark.
Thanks, John. When you approach this area, can you describe the lighting for us, sir?
There's really no street lighting. There's overhanging trees over the walkway. There was lights on in the residence, but there's a fence that goes in front of the windows, so the lighting was poor.
So I'm sorry?
The lighting was very poor.
And was there a lot of foliage, a lot of bushes and trees in that area?
Yes.
So when you first approached the walkway of 875 South Bundy, as you approached it, were you able to see any blood on the walkway before you actually got there and actually looked up the walkway?
It actually took us a couple of seconds to find the body because it was so dark.
Sustained. Answer stricken.
Okay. First of all, as you approached the location of 875 South Bundy, were you able to see any blood on the walkway before you actually stopped and looked up the walkway itself?
No.
How difficult was it for you to see the body as you approached that location?
We actually, when we first went we were looking on the grass, and the witnesses directed us to the walkway. So we didn't see it at all until we were directed by the witnesses.
Okay, so until somebody actually pointed it out to you, you didn't see a body
Right.
or blood on the walkway?
Right.
Now, did you have a flashlight with you?
Yes.
Did you turn that flashlight on?
Yes.
And where were you when you turned on your flashlight?
Standing on the sidewalk at the foot of the walkway.
So before you actually went up the walkway or went anywhere near that scene, you turned on the flashlight?
Right.
And can you see on the monitor, sir? You see where that arrow is?
Yes.
You see where the sidewalk is? Is the arrow, can you move it down, John? Thanks. Is the arrow now pointing to where the sidewalk is before the walkway begins?
Yes.
And where did you stop and turn on your flashlight?
I was actually to the left of the arrow,
Okay,
right where the foliage is by the sidewalk.
okay, could we move the arrow over to the left?
Right about there.
Right there? Thank you. And what did you do when you stood there with your flashlight?
Just turned the flashlight on and saw the body, and went back and requested a supervisor, additional units, ambulance. Then went back and talked to the witnesses.
Okay, so after you saw the body, you left the scene for a moment?
Right.
And did what?
Went back and talked to the witnesses, find out how they found the body, basically what happened.
And by the witnesses, you mean those two people with the dog?
Right.
And did they tell you how they found the dog?
They told me that they're,
Correct. Did they tell you yes or no?
yes,
Right. Next one.
And did they tell you how they happened to get to 875 South Bundy?
yes,
Did you look at the dog?
yes.
Did you notice anything unusual about it?
There was blood on his legs and on his paws.
Did you notice how far up the legs the blood went on the dog?
I believe on the rear leg it went up approximately to his knee. Just streaks,
Streaks of it?
yes.
All right. What did you do next?
We went back to the scene. We approached the body of the female, and as we got probably 2 feet from her body, we discovered the body of a male white laying against the north fence.
Okay. How did you get up to the woman's body, what did you do?
My partner approached in the grass, and I approached walking through the plants right there.
Through
Staying to,
these bushes here on the left?
right, staying to the left of the walkway.
And your partner, where was he?
He was in the grass. It's to the left of the foliage. You can't really see in this picture.
Okay. So you were in the bushes and he was to the left of you as we face the photograph?
Right?
Did you step on the walkway?
No.
Do you have the telestrator? Also, I'm going to ask you to look at the monitor now. Is this approximately where you started walking?
It's a little bit to the right, right on the edge of the walkway. Right about there. Right about there.
Okay. And then did you walk up through the bushes like
Right.
this? Tell me when to stop.
It's really a poor angle. I can't see where I stopped. It was before the body, before the fence.
All right. So we're going to say approximately here.
Right.
And for the record, I've drawn a horizontal line perpendicular to the vertical line depicting this path through the bushes, Your Honor.
And we're drawing on People's 42.
Yes. Thank you, Your Honor. Forgot to... All right. Now, when you stood in that location, you had your flashlight on?
Right.
What kind of flashlight did you have?
I have a stream light. It's a long black metal.
Long black metal light?
Right.
Is it very powerful?
It's I think it's rated at 30,000 candle power. It's powerful.
And at that point, when you stood up at the closer location, you were able to see that there was another victim?
Right.
I'm going to show you a series of photographs, sir. And this would be 43, Your Honor?
Yes, People's 43.
Thank you.
I wonder where
Right,
the
if
dog
you
is
could-
today.
Can you see where
Oh,
the
never
phone
mind.
are?
Yes.
You need to step down, go ahead.
I wonder who took the dog when the police released the dog. Who got the
All right, if
dog?
you could explain, first of all, in the first photograph to my left as I face it, upper left-hand photograph, what does that depict?
That's a sidewalk on the west side of Bundy and the foot of the walkway leading up to 875.
And does that depict the scene as you
That's
found it
awesome,
when you first
Ozzy.
approached?
That's
Yes, ma'am.
awesome.
And the second photograph to the right of that?
The second photograph would be the victim, the female white in a black dress, laying on the walkway.
And you can see that at the very rear of the photograph, upper part of the photograph.
That's correct.
And the third one?
The third one is the same picture of a female white in a black dress, but it's just closer.
And now the lower left photograph?
The lower left is a picture of the female white in a dress, and there's an envelope on the dirt right on the right of the walkway.
And the next photograph?
The next photograph is the male white that we found, another picture of the envelope laying in the dirt.
That envelope, was that between the two victims?
Yes.
And the last photograph?
The last photograph is a closer up picture of the male white.
Okay. Now, do these all depict the scene as you found it when you first approached at 12:13 a.m.?
Yes.
Now, that walkway that you see in both 42 on the screen is that 38? Excuse me, 38 on the screen. And the photographs in People's 43. Did you illuminate that with your flashlight?
Yes.
What did you see in that walkway?
There's a pool of blood under the victim, the female white, and then it flows down towards the sidewalk.
And in the blood, did you see any kind of patterns?
There was paw prints towards the sidewalk, and there was a heel mark by the fence where close to where the envelope is.
Okay, if you could look at your monitor, sir. Might be easier for you on your monitor. Okay, can you tell us, do you see the paw prints you just described?
Yes.
And as you looked up the walkway walking through the bushes, were you able to see any bloody shoe prints on that walkway?
Not until we got right by the body. There's a heel print.
So down here on the walkway that is actually outside the gate, did you see any shoe prints?
No.
And next. Next.
Ms. Martin, if I can ask you, which photograph were you referring to previously?
Did we mark that?
All right, this photograph, which is appears to be of the walkway and the sidewalk, and has a West Tech sign in the upper right-hand corner. What number is? This is one of the photographs that's here on the chart.
Why don't we mark it on? Is that 43 or 42?
This is 43. I would suggest we. Is this the upper top left? How about 43A through E?
E.
All right.
Thank you. So this is 43A. Next photograph.
We need a
Four-
good
nope, back
sidebar.
up. 43B. Okay, and the next? 43C. Does this depict the woman as you found her and the scene as you found it when you first approached?
Yes.
Can you tell us, sir, can you see an area in this photograph where you were standing in order to see that?
It'd be to the left of the body, there, you can see a call box on the wall right there.
Yes.
There's a gate that was open. And on the left by the call box is about a 1 foot long fence. I was standing right by the fence.
All right, the call box you're referring to, is that right here?
Yes.
Can you just put an arrow on it?
Okay. Oops. You know what? There we go. You were standing by that call box?
Right at the base of the fence.
And it's hard to tell from this photograph, but from that location, you were then also able to see a male victim.
Right.
Okay, next. With the, showing the envelope. Don't you have that up? That's not a laser. All right, this is 43D, Your Honor. Now, in this photograph, you can see an envelope.
Yes.
Okay, and that's on the right side of the screen.
Right.
And that was lying between them.
Yes.
Okay, and once again, do you see the paw prints as you saw them that night when you first approached the scene in the blood?
Yes.
Next.
Does anybody know if the glove is after or before Furman's testimony?
No. All right, and is that the envelope you've described?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this is what
For-
photograph?
Maybe 43E? No, D. No, E.
E.
E. And this is the condition in which you found it, the placement of everything as you found it when you first approached?
Yes.
All right, sir, now as you made that approach, you were making these observations, you were standing in the bushes that was near the call box you showed us?
That's correct.
Now, you said that you saw a bloody shoe print up near the body of the victims. Can you see that
Save
in this
the bushes.
photograph?
Not really. It's kind of a bad picture.
I think we do have a better one. The shoe print that you're describing, was it near the envelope?
Right. It's just the west of the envelope.
Okay, let's get the other one.
I can see it in a large one, yeah.
There we go. Can you look at the monitor? Do you see it now?
Yes.
Can you tell us, is it near as you face the screen, the left corner of the envelope?
That's correct.
Photograph.
And this photograph is still the same one, Your Honor. We're just focusing on it's a close-up.
All right, 43E.
Tell me if I'm pointing to the right location, sir.
You're too high.
I know.
Right there.
All right, now after you made these observations, sir, and you were able to see, at that time, tell us what you saw.
I saw the envelope there, the heel print. If you look at the picture closely, there's a glove and what appears to be a knit cap under the plant on the right.
Okay. Let me get you a better picture of that.
Ms. Clark, perhaps we should have him put an arrow where he says he sees a hat.
We're going to, I think, use a photograph that shows that area a little better, if that's all right, Your Honor. Or if you think we should, we'll do it on this one.
Well, it's not apparent to me.
Under this plant, sir,
Right, that'd be the glove right there.
that we're pointing to right now?
Yes.
All right. And then you said there was a hat somewhere?
No, very lower right corner, you can see part of a hat, what appears to be a knit cap.
Down here?
Right.
All right. We're going to get a closer photograph of that location. What's that? Is that the hat you told us about, sir?
Yes.
All right. And another, do you see another bloody shoe print there?
What appears to be a heel mark is.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Clark, what photograph is this?
And we should mark this, Your Honor, as photograph 44.
All right, People's 44.
Can you circle that heel print? And that's the knit cap?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And that's the glove?
Yes.
All right.
Once we get through Cochran or whoever, Douglas, whoever crosses this, we will be approximately 1/5 through the whole trial, I believe. So,
And you were able to see these things from the your position in the standing on the bushes near the call box when you used your flashlight to look at the location?
I was actually kneeling when I saw all this.
Kneeling?
Yes.
Did that plant that seems to be hanging over the glove and the hat, did that kind of block them from view unless you used your flashlight?
Yes.
What else did you see at that time, sir?
There were some what appeared to be bloody footprints going up the steps towards the house.
Okay. You saw those, and was that from your position still in the bushes at
That's
the call
correct.
box area?
Yes.
And you saw bloody shoe prints?
Yes.
How many sets of bloody shoe prints did you see?
Just one set.
even by today's standards, a lot.
All right, this is a board, Your Honor, of consisting of 15 photographs as to be marked equals 45.
All right, People's 45 display with 15 photographs of alleged shoe prints.
Let me move this out just And you can step down, sir, if you would. Go ahead and look at that. All right, tell us what you see there.
The first picture in the upper right-hand corner, or the upper left-hand corner, would be the area where the male victim was lying.
And that would be, the record, let's make that 44A.
45A.
5A.
I'm going to ask you, Ms. Clark, at the conclusion of the court date today, if you would have somebody from your one of your clerks label each one of these underneath A through whatever.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. As to both 43 and 45.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And maybe you also want 40 as well.
That would help for reference, yes. Thank you.
Yes, please continue.
The second picture
B.
would be of the female victim, and there's stairs leading to the west.
All right, now that's from perspective standing at the top of the stairs looking down?
Yes. The
Or do
third,
you see a shoe print in that photograph?
yes.
Can you point?
Right.
And 45C?
It's a picture of the stairs. There appears to be two shoe prints.
And those are the same stairs shown in 45B?
Yes.
Can you point out the other shoe prints, sir?
There's one here and one here.
And now 45C, it's on its side, but can you tell us Is that the landing at the top of the stairs?
That's a landing going towards the front door, heading west.
So that's the landing at the top of those steps shown in B and C?
Yes.
Can you point to any shoe prints that you see in that photograph?
Here, here, here.
And that would be D. Now E, can you tell us what location that is?
It's the landing. You can see the front doors right here. And this computer.
See any shoe prints in that location?
Yes.
Can you point to them, please? You want to use a pointer? Hard to reach anyways.
There's one here, one here, one here, then one here.
And stepping back to F,
This is past the landing, and it's going towards the west. This is a rear gate.
and is that another kind of perspective shot of a longer shot of the walkway area that's shown in E?
Yes,
And you see bloody shoe prints there.
yes.
Can you point to them, please?
Here, here, here. There's a faint one here, and I believe that's one right there.
Officer Risky, could you keep your voice up because everybody in the jury box needs to hear what you're saying.
I'm sorry.
All right, now photograph G, H, I, and J in that row. Can you tell us if you recognize what's shown there?
Yes.
What is that?
Oh, yeah.
It's a picture of what appears
Oh,
to be a
yes.
bloody footprint.
And do those look like the bloody shoe prints you saw that night?
Yes,
And those bloody shoe prints were going in what direction?
towards the west.
Would that be towards the rear alley behind the condominium?
Yes.
And on the bottom row as well, sir? K and L.
Two more what appear to be bloody shoe prints.
And do they appear the way you found them, as when you first came to the scene?
Yes.
D, M, N, and O on this chart. What location is shown there?
That's approximately the middle of the walkway in the north of the house. There's some steps.
Does that walkway area have steps going down and up and down?
Yes.
Okay. And do these appear to be the steps, one of the set of steps going down?
Yes,
Did you observe bloody shoe prints on those steps as well?
yes,
And can you see them in the photographs here?
yes.
Can you show us?
There's one here. Looks like a little bit here. There's one here. One here, one here. There's one here, there's one here. And this appears to be a shoe print.
As well. All right, keep.
All right, Ms. Clark, at this point, would it be helpful to have two of your assistants move this exhibit? Because some of these photographs, the shoe prints are not visible. Perhaps if you could have that exhibit and momentarily have two of your assistants take it down to the end of our jury box. And they're nodding back there because they'd like to see it.
Thank you very much, John.
They're nodding off to sleep.
And we'll just take a pause for a minute or two and let them look at it. Including our alternate there. Officer Risky, would you fix your collar?
Judge Ito. No.
Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you, ma'am.
You should have done that to the other set as well.
The other
Right, okay.
1492, were you able to see the other, most of it? All right.
There we go. Now, so these photographs that are being...
Wait, Council, let's let them, so we don't have their divided attention here. All right, thank you, Council.
All of them. Yep.
Ms. Clark.
Thank you, Ron. All right, so you stood at the call box area up on the plants, and you made these observations, sir. You saw the hat, the glove, the envelope, the shoe prints. Did you see all of the shoe prints that we've just described going all the way down the walkway at that point?
No.
Which ones were you able to see at that point?
I can see the ones on the steps and the ones on the landing leading towards the front door, which was open.
The front door was open?
Yes.
How far open was it?
A little more than half, I believe.
Now, you saw the woman you described in the black dress lying at the foot of the stairs.
Right.
Can you describe her position for us?
She was laying on her left side, her hands to her chest, her feet were together and underneath the fence.
Underneath the gate?
Uh,
The fence?
the fence.
I'm directing your attention, sir, to photograph. I ask you to point out to the jury so that they can, I'll leave it here. It's 44. C?
I think this is 43.
43C? Could you show us what you're talking about? Her legs were under the...
Under the fence right here.
After you made these observations, sir, what did you do next?
My partner and I seen that the front door was open. There was footprint, what appeared to be bloody footprints going towards the front door. We stepped over the female victim and went to the front door. We saw the shoe prints continue on down the walkway. We looked in the house. There was appeared to be no evidence of ransacking or forced entry. And I saw a phone probably 15 feet, 20 feet from the front door. And I entered and I called the station, told my watch commander what we had.
So when you were standing at the call box in the bushes, you saw the shoe prints leading up to the front door. Could you...
We're watching so much crazy lately that we can't see a regular court hearing anymore.
see whether those shoe prints from that position continued on past the front door or not?
No.
And why was it that you decided to step over the body of the woman and go inside the condo?
To see if there's any other victims in the house or any evidence in the house.
What about a possible suspect?
Possible suspect.
At that point, you didn't know?
No.
Now, how was it that when you stepped over the body of the woman, did you step in blood?
No.
How did you manage not to do that?
By staying to the far left, against the fence and up the steps.
Can you show, yeah, it's hard to show these photographs, but you,
I'll show it on this one.
on this one? If you would, sir, please show us where there's a clear area that you were able to step over so that you avoided stepping in blood. Excuse me, thank you, that's People's 43.
43.
You see in the plants right here, we got next to the fence, stepped over her body, stayed against the wall, up the steps to the front door.
And was there any blood in that location as we face the photograph of 43C on that left-hand side of the stairs?
No.
And so when you stepped over her, also in 45B, does that show part of the clear area?
Yes.
And before you stepped up there, you were already able to see that this bloody shoe print shown in 45B was there.
Yes.
Now, after you went into the location, first of all, did you look at the door?
Yes.
Did you notice whether there was any evidence of forced entry?
I did notice, and there wasn't.
There appeared no evidence of forced entry.
No.
Did you see any bloody shoe prints on the carpeting?
No.
Did you see any evidence that there had been property strewn around or any evidence of a struggle?
No.
Did anything appear to be out of place?
No.
Did drawers appear to be open?
No.
Did cupboards appear to be open?
No.
Did clothes appear to be strewn about?
No.
Did you see any blood drops inside the house on the floor anywhere?
No, I didn't.
And you saw a telephone there?
Yes, ma'am.
And what did you do with that phone?
I called my watch commander at the station, told him we had a double homicide on Bundy, and I told him that O.J. Simpson was somehow involved.
And why did you think that?
Because when we approached right by the front door, you could see a lithograph on the north wall of the apartment, or the condominium. And as I got to the phone, there was a letter, had O.J. Simpson as a return address. So I thought it was his wife or his girlfriend.
Okay. Now, by involved, did you mean as a suspect?
No, his, potential victim, maybe it's his wife, I didn't know.
So involved in the sense that one of the victims may be related to him.
Right.
Hi, Kiki.
What happened next?
My partner and I exited the apartment, took the same path down through the plants. I went on the other side of the north fence by Mr. Goldman.
Now, how did you do that? Did you step through the blood somehow when you did that?
No, I went around to the neighbor's yard.
All right, so directing your attention to the monitor, Your Honor, I ask that this be marked as People's 46.
All right, equals 46.
Can you show us, sir, the area you're speaking of that you went to in order to see Ron Goldman, that is the neighbor's side of the fence?
There's a big tree where the arrow is. There's a path that leads back to the fence where Ron Goldman was laying.
And is that arrow showing that location?
Yes.
Was it dark in that location as well?
Yes.
Did you use your flashlight, sir?
Yes, I did.
Now, these photographs appear to be taken in daylight.
Yes.
You didn't have that much light.
No, I didn't.
When you went around behind Ron Goldman's body, what did you see?
First thing I saw was a pager laying to the north of the fence in the dirt.
Another set of photographs. Yes, please make sure. Series of photographs, Your Honor, be marked as People's 47. It's a series of 9. photographs. I will have them labeled A through.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bennett.
Okay, are you able to see these, sir? We'd like to step down.
I'll step down.
Sure. Go ahead, and orient yourself for a minute. John, if it would be all right with the court, would you mind if we had one of the lawyers hold the board in the middle of the jury so they could all see it while he's talking about what he found?
So long as the defense counsel can see what's going on.
Mr. Coffey will be at my side, I'm sure.
Accommodate, I'll make sure here.
All right.
Oh, never mind, we have these on laser. I'll let the officer look at these. All right, go ahead, have a seat. All right, that would be 47A.
All right, 47A.
Next. All right, 47B.
This cop is not destroying any case, though, so far.
Can we move 47C? 47D? 47E? F? G? H? I? These are pretty dark. Well, we're going to have to use the photographs, I think. Can you see where the page is depicted in the photographs are?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to have to get you to stand back by Mr. Copper so the rest of the jury can see them. All right. Point out where the pager was found.
This would be the pager right here.
For the record, the witness is pointed to 47A.
The court reporter cannot hear the witness testify at this point because he's turned away.
Keep your voice up, sir.
Pardon?
Keep your voice up. All right. The witness is pointed to photograph 47A. Can you point that out one more time, sir?
This would be the pager.
All right. And do you recall seeing keys in that area
No, I don't.
at that time? And did you approach from behind this gate here?
Yes, I did.
And was that on the other side of the gate? I'm showing 47A.
That would be in the neighbor's yard.
So you were not inside the gate near Mr. Goldman?
No.
Go ahead and take your seat, sir. What did you do in that location while you were on the outside of that gate?
I approached Mr. Goldman. When I was on the other side, I noticed that one of his eyes was open. So I approached him. I shined my light to see if there was any movement in his pupil. There was none. It remained fixed and dilated. And I touched his eyeball with my finger to get any involuntary reaction, such as twitching of the eyelid, movement of the head. And it just basically verified that he was dead,
And you found what?
that he was dead.
So now that photograph in 47A, is that how you found him in that position?
Yes.
And what did you do next?
I went back out to the street, and the backup unit had arrived. I met with them.
Now, during that entire time, sir, did you step in any blood in the walkway or around the victims
No, I didn't.
or up on the stairs or the pathway leading to the front door?
No, I didn't.
Did you touch any of the evidence?
No.
And why is that?
Because I was trying to preserve the integrity of the crime scene.
Is that something you're trained to do, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Standard training?
Yes.
At that point,
Clark, I think we need to take a quarter recess.
Sure.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a brief 15-minute recess. Please remember my admonition to you. Don't discuss the case amongst yourselves, form any opinions about the case. Don't let anybody talk to you about the case. Don't discuss anything about the case amongst yourselves. And we'll see you back here in 15 minutes. Ask you to step back into the jury room, please. All right, Officer Risky.
I'm trying not to form an opinion, but everybody keeps telling me what happened.
The jury? No?
No, I do,
Oh, Mr. Carrigan, all right.
there is one particular chart that I just wanted to call the court's attention. That I have one question regarding.
Mr. Cochran is up behind the carriage.
Listen, Your Honor, I think, I object to the use of the word trail. I think that that's inclusionary. I have no problem with blood drops, blood whatever, but I think the trail, there's no real issue about that. I think that's argumentative, and I think it's an inclusionary form. And I don't object to the photographs which I've seen, but the label takes a little mystery. I'm telling you, Your Honor, that there will be a lot of evidence in regard to whether or not it's an actual trail.
Ms. Clark?
Yes, Your Honor, this was shown to Mr. Cochran yesterday.
This is the first time we didn't hear them speak. We heard mumbles, but we didn't hear them.
And there was no objection lodged. Secondly, it is a matter of what was observed and what will be testified to by the witnesses, that the blood trailed, and in fact did trail. There was a tailing effect to the blood that showed that it trailed in a westerly direction. And so it's simply descriptive of what the testimony will be. That's what a board is. That's why we have photographs. Counsel can argue it's not, but we have a series of blood drops to the left of a series of bloody shoe prints. It's a trail of blood.
That's certainly, I'm indicating because there will be testimony that is not a trail. All we're talking about is
Well, what
evidence.
is it?
I'm talking about the label of this evidence. And I just think it's inappropriate to call it blood trail. So I'm asking the court. When I saw this last night, we weren't on the record or whatever, so now's the time. She had to put it out now. Now's the time. I'm just saying we should, if she wants to call it blood and Bundy, I have no objection. I object to the use of the trail.
I think that's a matter for counsel to argue, but this is the people's evidence. This is the way the witnesses characterize what they saw, and so it's simply descriptive. It's what the testimony is going to elicit. That's why we have these boards.
That's exactly the point. It's a matter for both counsel to argue, not be argumentative on this document.
Well, counsel can put up his own board and say blood drops, and it's not a trail. And our witnesses found it to be a trail, and that's what the testimony will show, and that's why we have boards.
Thank you.
I don't want to do that, though. I think the evidence will be, this is 160 feet up that way, and they find 4 drops of blood. That,
Five.
and 5 drops of blood. That does not make a trail among most reasonable experts. And the question is, I don't want to argue that, at this point, I want to argue at the end of the case. It's argumentative. That's all I'm saying.
All right, objections noted, it's overruled. Thank you. All right, let's have the jurors, please. Deputy McNair.
Good job, Judge.
Ms. Robertson.
That was seriously a very stupid objection.
The members of our jury panel that Officer Robert Risky is on the stand. Officer Risky, you're reminded you're still under oath. Ms. Clark, you may continue your direct examination.
I believe when we left off, sir, you indicated that you contacted your supervisor.
That's correct.
And who was that?
Called Sergeant Rossi on the phone.
And after you called Sergeant Rossi, what did you do next?
We exited the residence, went down, I checked Mr. Goldman, and then I was leaving from there, and additional units showed up.
All right. So after you looked, you went around the neighbor's side of the fence, looked in at Mr. Goldman, then you backed out again and did what?
Additional units showed up, and I started telling them what
Touched
we
his
had.
eye. Forgot
An
that.
additional unit meaning other police officers?
That's correct.
In a black and white unit?
Yes.
And was that based on the call you put out?
Yes.
You explained to them what you found?
I started to explain to them, and then Sergeant Marty Kuhn showed up, and I just told everybody at once.
Now, when your sergeant came to the scene, where was everybody during this time?
We're on the east side of the street by my police vehicle.
You were out on Bundy
That's
in front
correct.
of the location?
That's correct.
You were not on the sidewalk or on the walkway?
No, we're on the east side of the street by 874.
And while you were standing in that location in the street, what were you talking about?
I advised them we had a double homicide and what evidence we had that was visible from what we had seen. And my partner was sent to the rear to secure the rear. One of the officers started setting up crime scene tape, and Detective Wally and Officer Wally and I were directed to search the house.
Now, when you say crime scene tape, I'm showing you again the photograph that's been marked today as People's 46. You see that yellow tape in the foreground?
Yes.
Is that crime scene tape as you described it, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
And who put that up?
I believe Officer Ed McGowan.
And what was the purpose of that crime scene tape?
To keep people from walking through the area, through the crime scene.
Can you tell us where it extended to?
The tape in the front went from the neighbor to the north to the neighbor to the south, encompassed the whole 3 houses.
And to the rear of the area, was that secured also?
Yes.
And how far was that crime
was,
scene extended in the rear?
The neighbor to the north of the rear of her residence to the foot of the alley,
That's
which would
dark.
be north.
Yeah, do you have one? Showing you now a photograph that was previously marked as People's 39. You recognize what's shown there, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
What is that?
That's the rear alley of the Bundy address.
And you see the tape you referred to earlier and identified as crime scene tape?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that shown in this photograph also?
Yes.
What's shown in the foreground there, is that crime scene tape?
Yes.
Is that the end of the alley?
That's the south end of the alley on Dorothy.
You see the police car in the back, towards the rear of that photograph?
Yes, I do.
And can you see where the crime scene tape is in relation to that car?
Yes.
Is the car inside or outside the tape?
It's outside.
Outside the tape?
Yes.
And again, that tape in the rear is to prevent people from walking through?
That's correct.
And who set up the rear crime scene tape, if you know?
I really don't know.
Was all of that tape, however, set up right after you called your supervisor?
It was set up while Officer Wally and I searched the house.
And this photograph, for the record, Your Honor, that's on the screen now is People's 38. All right, then let's back up for a second, sir. After the sergeant got to the scene, now at that point, everybody's standing outside in the street in front
Right.
on Bundy?
Right.
No one's walking up around the walkway or around the
No.
victims? And were you given some order at that point?
Yes.
And what was that?
To search the house.
For what purpose?
I look for additional victims, suspect, any evidence that might be in the house.
And the other officers, what did they do?
Officer McGowan put up the crime scene tape. Sergeant Kuhn made sure nobody walked through the crime scene. And my partner, Officer Terrazas, went to the back, secured the rear location.
Okay, that Sergeant Kuhn, is he in relation to another one?
No. Not that I know of.
And so what did you do at that point?
Officer Wally and I approached the residence through the grass, went up the path, up the steps, and into the house.
And when you say that you did that, did you walk through the bushes again?
Yes.
Not on that walkway that had the blood on it.
No, we used the same route I used before.
And you avoided stepping in the blood.
Yes, ma'am.
Did the officer that went with you do the same?
Yes.
And you went inside the house?
Yes, I did.
Once again, sir, when you went into the house, did you notice any bloody shoe prints?
No, I didn't.
Or ransacking?
No.
Or evidence of a struggle?
No.
Or forced entry?
No.
What did you do inside the house?
We first searched the ground level of the residence from the extreme east side all the way to the rear, which would be the west. And there's some stairs that lead down the garage. We went down the stairs. We saw a cup of ice cream sitting on a banister of the stairway.
Was that inside the house, sir?
It's inside the house, right by the garage.
Okay, is there a door that leads from the house, inside the house, to the garage?
Yes.
And are there stairs that lead to that door?
Yes.
And the ice cream, was that at the top or the bottom of those stairs?
It's at the bottom of the stairs on a banister.
But inside the house?
Yes.
What did you see, other than that?
We opened the door, searched the garage. There was nothing in there. And we went back upstairs, went to the second level of the house. We observed 2 children sleeping in their beds, and there was no other evidence in the house.
Did you look in the master bedroom?
Yes.
What was the master bedroom lit?
I believe it had a table lamp on, yes.
Was there a television in the room?
Yes, it was.
Was it on?
Yes.
And the bed, what was the condition of the bed?
The covers were just piled in the middle of the bed.
Covers were rumpled?
Yes.
Were there any other lights on upstairs?
Rumplements.
I believe there was a light
Yes.
in the main hallway, and the workout room, I think, was lighted.
Okay, there's a workout room?
Just east of the master bedroom, there's like a balcony that overlooks the living room, and there's some workout equipment in there.
And was that lit?
I believe the light was on in there, yes.
And the bathroom? In what condition was the bathroom near the master bedroom?
The lights were off, but there were candles lit. The tub was full of water. That's
Like-
about it.
Like someone was getting ready to take a bath?
Yes, ma'am.
And the children, were they asleep in their rooms?
Yes.
One child in each room?
Yes.
So were their rooms dark?
Yes, they were.
Did you notice any evidence of blood drops
No, I didn't.
anywhere upstairs?
No.
Any evidence of a struggle?
No.
Any evidence of ransacking?
No.
Drawers pulled out?
No.
Closets opened?
No.
Clothing thrown around?
No.
Jewelry thrown around?
No.
Anything look out of place up there?
Not that I can see now.
What did you do next?
I went down to the front landing, advised my supervisor that we had 2 children in the house and we had to take them out the back.
So you went back downstairs to the front door area?
That's correct.
The door is still standing open as you found it?
Yes.
And were there any candles lit anywhere else in the house?
Not that I recall.
Did you write a report in this matter, sir?
A brief statement.
Very brief.
Yeah, very brief statement.
Do you happen to recall at this time the condition of the ice cream that you saw in the cup just inside the door in the house? On the banister, excuse me?
It appeared to be melted.
So when you went out on the landing, who was it you made contact with?
Sergeant Kuhn?
And you told him about the children inside?
That's correct.
And what did you tell him to do about them?
I just told him we had 2 children in the house and we were going to take them out the back.
Then what did you do?
I walked the walkway that leads to the rear gate. I met with my partner and told him we had 2 kids. We were going to open the garage door and bring them out.
All right. Now, was that the first time you took that walkway towards the rear area of the condominium back
Yes.
to where the rear driveway is?
Yes, it was.
Well, I have here another series of photographs that asked you mark as pupils 48? Yes? 40?
All right, People's 48.
Sir, I'm going to, if I might, have Mr. Escobar hold this
Yes.
in the center of the jury. Also, if you'd like to step down, take the pointer with you. Maybe get a good- All right, now this is the first time you've walked this path that goes towards, from the front door to the rear of the location, is that correct?
That's correct.
And did you see anything unusual on that walkway as you proceeded down it?
I continue to see what appear to be bloody shoe prints and drops of blood.
Now, were you using your flashlight?
Yes, it was.
Is it dark in that location?
Yes.
Excuse me, Mr. Risky, keep his voice up.
Thank you, Howard.
Thank you.
Talk louder. How did you avoid stepping on those bloody shoe prints or on those blood drops?
I used my flashlight to illuminate the walkway and stayed against the wall leading back to the back.
So before you stepped, you were able to see where you were stepping with your flashlight,
That's correct.
and you avoided those
Ask and
bloody,
answer, Your Honor.
you avoided those bloody areas.
Yes, I did.
Can you tell us if you can, are you able to see these, sir?
Yes.
Showing you the photograph that will be labeled as A, 48A. Do you see these markers here?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and do you see those markers closer up in B and C?
Yes, I did.
What are those?
Those are evidence tags.
And the drops that appear next to them,
They appear to be drops of blood.
as you saw them that night, sir?
Yes.
And in C and D,
There are also evidence tags and drops of blood.
so D is a blow-up of the drops shown in perspective on the stairs in D,
Yes.
and in F and G,
This is the rear walkway going to the driveway. There's an evidence tag on that also.
and in
Not for long.
and G, is that a close-up of the evidence tag shown in F?
Yes, it is.
Now, that gate that's shown in F, is that the rear gate that actually opens onto the rear driveway in the back alley?
Yes, it is.
And H down here, can you tell us what location is shown there?
That's the rear driveway.
Anybody see? You see the evidence tags shown in H?
Yes, I can.
All right, and can you see the close-up of those tags in I and in K?
Yes.
Now, when you went out towards the, out through the rear gate, were you able to see any other blood drops?
I met with my partner at the rear gate,
And
and he...
distracted, non-responsive.
Yes, I did.
And how did you happen to see those?
My partner directed my attention to it.
And how did he do that?
It was probably mag light.
He just told me he saw blood on the gate and on the driveway, and he showed me where they were with his flashlight.
Shone his light on them?
That's correct.
Was he staying away from them?
Yes.
And when he told you that, was that so you'd stay away from them too?
Object that false.
Sustained.
Speculation of my
Sustained.
partner told me.
Sustained.
When he told you that, what, did you stay away from those blood drops?
Yes, I did.
And are these, can you tell us whether the blood drops shown in I are the blood drops in the rear driveway that were pointed out to you by your partner with his flashlight?
Yes, they are.
Did your partner point out any other item of evidence near that blood drop in the rear driveway?
There was some change by the Jeep.
And when you say change, you see that depicted in one of these photographs?
Yes, I did.
Is that in K at the very end?
Yes.
And now the two evidence markers that you see in J, or better actually over here, in H, do those show the relative locations of the blood drop and the change?
Yes, it is.
And is that as you found it on that night, sir?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Now, the blood drops that you saw going down the walkway, where in relation to the bloody shoe prints that you've described did you see them?
I believe they were to the left of the shoe prints.
And at the rear gate that you pointed out to us that's now shown in the photograph F, did you notice anything unusual on that rear gate?
There was blood at various locations on the gate, or what appeared to be blood.
And did your partner point out any other blood with respect to that rear gate?
He pointed out blood on the outside of the gate, on the back.
And were you able to see that?
Yes, I was.
Overruled.
When you got to the rear gate, when you walked out that walkway for the first time towards the rear in a westerly direction, when you got to the rear gate, was it locked?
No, it wasn't.
Tell us what condition it was in.
I don't know if it was broken or the latch was stuck open. I just pushed on the gate with my flashlight and it opened.
You pushed it with your flashlight
That's correct.
and it opened by itself.
Yes.
You didn't touch it with your hands.
No, I didn't.
Now, you mentioned something about a Jeep.
Yes.
When you got out to the rear of the location, to the rear driveway, you mentioned you saw the drops of blood and the change. You also mentioned that you saw a Jeep?
Right.
Did you see that Jeep in the photograph that has been marked as 37?
Your exhibit, Ms. Clark.
I know. 39.
Yes, I can.
Is that the Jeep as you found it that day, that night?
Yes.
Now, at the time that you found the Jeep, sir, was the garage door open or closed?
It was closed.
When you went out the rear gate for the first time, did you notice anything unusual about that Jeep?
I didn't really examine the Jeep the first time.
Did you come back to it at some later point?
Yes, I did.
When was that?
After the children were out of the house,
After you exited the rear gate, you saw your partner pointed out the blood, you saw the blood on the gate, etc. What did you do next?
Overruled.
What did you do next?
I told him we were going to open the rear garage door, and I asked him if there was anything, if we opened the door, if it would disturb any evidence, and he said no.
And did you then open the rear garage door?
I went back in the house and woke up the children, got them dressed, and the girl opened the garage door for us.
Now, when you say you went back into the house, what route did you take?
The walkway, back to the front door, and then in through the front door.
And again, as you walked down that walkway, were you using your flashlight?
Yes, I was.
Did you step in the bloody shoe prints?
No, I didn't.
Or the blood drops?
No.
I remember regular flashlights back then.
And you went back into the house?
Yes, I did.
Got the children dressed?
Yes.
And when you took them out, in what direction, what route did you take?
Went down the stairs, through the garage, went through the inside of the garage, had a girl open the garage door, and then we went past the Ferrari and out on the driveway.
So they went out through the back.
Yes.
And was a police unit there?
There's a unit at this end of the alley on Dorothy.
And you took them out to that unit.
Yes,
They were then taken, what, to the West LA
to West
station?
LA.
At that point, did anyone know who their parents were or where they could be found?
We knew their father was O.J. Simpson, but I didn't ask her where he was.
Had that been verified for a fact at that point? That their father was Mr. Simpson?
No, not until I asked her.
You asked the little girl?
Yes, I did.
Sydney?
Yes,
And she told you?
yes.
After the children were taken from the scene, what did you do next?
I went back to the driveway and I talked to my partner, and I saw the Jeep again. He showed me the Jeep.
And what about that Jeep was unusual?
The front passenger door was slightly ajar.
And is that the Jeep that's shown in People's 39?
Yes,
The passenger door in front. Is that a four-door vehicle? Or a two-door, if you know?
I think it's a 4, but I'm not sure. I don't recall.
But it was on the passenger side?
Right.
Was it standing open?
No, it was closed, but it wasn't closed all the way.
Was the interior light on?
I really don't recall.
After you noticed that the passenger door was cracked on the Jeep, what happened next?
We just made sure that my partner and Sergeant Rossi, when he showed up, we showed it to him, made sure everybody stayed away from it.
Stayed away from the Jeep?
Right.
Why?
Because we didn't want anybody to touch the car, get fingerprints on it, disturb any evidence.
And what did you do after that?
I went out to the front, and I verified that the crime scene was set up. And I talked to Sergeant Kuhn, told him we had the children out of the house. And I came back to the rear, and I walked the alley from Dorothy to Gorham, looking in trash cans, looking for any evidence.
Now, was there someone guarding the front of the location and the rear of the location?
Yes.
Who was that?
Sergeant Kuhn was in the front, and I believe he had Officer Sanchez with him. Another unit had arrived. And in the rear was my partner, Officer Terrazas.
And when I say guarding the location in the front and the rear, can you tell us what's the purpose of that?
You post somebody to crime scene tape to make sure nobody crosses the tape, disturbs any evidence.
To keep people out.
All right.
And did they do that?
Yes, I did.
So you searched the alley then from Dorothy and Bundy up to Gorham?
Dorothy, the rear alley and Dorothy up to Gorham.
So for one block behind the house.
Right.
And what did you find?
Nothing.
Was there, did anybody take any steps to block off traffic?
We had Bundy from Dorothy to Gorham close the vehicles.
So so traffic was blocked off in front of the location on Bundy?
That's correct.
Thank you. Did you notice any bloody shoe prints or blood drops in the alley?
Oh, I did.
Were you looking for them
Yes.
with your flashlight?
Yes.
Now, at some point, sir, did you go to the location of 874 South Bundy where your initial call came from?
Yes, I did.
Was that after you looked through the alley for evidence?
I believe it was before. Right.
Before?
I went back to the front, made sure the crime scene was secure, and I believe another officer and I went to 874.
So before going back to the alley, and was it after the children were taken out?
It was after the children.
After you took the children out, did you go over to 874 South Bundy?
Yes, I did.
And why was that?
I spoke with a female white, the original PR of the call, the one that called in the burglar.
The original call that you responded to of a burglary at 874?
That's correct.
And can you describe the woman you spoke to?
It's an elderly female white. I believe she had white hair.
And did you talk to her about her call?
Yes,
to
I
you?
did.
Did you Did she discuss with you hearing the doorbell ringing and somebody knocking on her door?
Yes.
Oh, well, I think you just explained subsequent action.
As a result of what she told you, what did you do?
My partner and I, or the officer who was with me and I, got a key from her for the rear gate, and we searched her yard for her just to make sure nothing was wrong.
Did she have a dog in the backyard there?
Yes, she did.
Did you ask her to take that dog in?
Yes.
And she did that?
Yes,
Then you searched around her house?
that's correct.
Find any problems?
No.
Any evidence of recently trampled shrubbery or?
No.
Overall.
See any screens removed from the windows?
No, we didn't.
Any evidence of some recent jimmying of any locks or anything?
No.
Did you report back to her?
Yes, we took her the key to the gate, and we told her it looked clear, and it didn't look like anybody had been back there.
And did you tell her not to go outside?
Yes.
Why's that?
I told her we had a crime across the street and just to stay in the house.
Now, after you made contact with her, what did you do next?
Then I went to the rear and searched the alley. The rear of 875 Bundy and searched the alley.
That's when you searched the alley?
Yes.
What'd you do after that?
I came back to the front, and I noticed that Sergeant Rossi, the West LA Watch Commander, was there, and Sergeant Kuhn was talking to him. I approached them, discussed what we had, and Sergeant Rossi, Sergeant Kuhn, and I crossed the tape, went up on the grass, and looked at the crime scene.
Now, what was the purpose of doing that?
He's my supervisor. I have to tell him what we have.
Okay. And so when you escorted him up to closer to where the victims were, again, you walked on the bushes and on the grass?
Walked on the grass, not in the bushes this time.
Okay. Not on that pathway?
Right.
And did you point out the evidence that you had found with your flashlight?
Yes.
And who was it that was with you at that time?
Sergeant Dave Rossi and Sergeant Marty Kuhn.
Now, did you take them stepping up over the body of Nicole and down the pathway?
No, I didn't.
What did you do?
We went, after I showed him the initial crime scene, we went down to Dorothy, went around to the rear. I showed him the Jeep, the change on the ground, the blood on the driveway. I took Sergeant Rossi to the gate, showed him the blood on the gate, and we went approximately halfway down the walkway. I showed him the bloody footprints.
Nobody else. Corner of Dorothy and Bundy, I'd ask that it be marked Peoples 49.
49.
Intersection is?
Not without a street sign, no.
Go ahead.
All right, guys, we did good. We made it to part 3, February 9th. We started at February 8th. So, whoo! All right. Thank you so much for coming out. I appreciate it so much watching this together. This would probably be pretty boring if I just, sat in my room and watched it. And I wouldn't know everything that you guys tell me. Because I don't know any of it. I didn't care at all when I was in my 20s what was going on with O.J. Simpson. So this is great for me. Plus, it's great to see how the courtrooms have not changed almost at all in all of that time. All right, I'm going to get ready. There's a disciplinary hearing in Connecticut coming soon. And Georgia's online. So, Fozzie. I love it too, Debbie. I really do. I'll see you guys soon. All right? Have a great day. Bye, guys.